chemicals?
It's certainly consistent with prolonged exposure to benzene and polycyclic hydrocarbons, commonly associated with oil development.
Thank you, Doctor.
When you breathe only through the left nostril, you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and repair branch of your nervous system. One more deep breath. And breathe out. Good. Good. You can also take a warm sea salt bath with lavender at night to help you get into a meditative state.
So it's pretty normal then?
Yes, everybody has sleep disturbances at some point. There is one more thing we can do. Your fellow Americans don't know what's good for them. In Milan, they at least give you a plate of ziti. Ziti.
I know what you mean. I mean, this is just foam on top of foam. Here, try this. Try this one.
Thank you. I hate when I'm nervous and these bony bitches are getting on my nerves. Thank you. I don't think I've ever eaten out of a $12,000 tumbler can bag. I am Enrique. Enrique is me. Same mind, just in a woman's body. I had the surgery, and I killed Enrique forever. It's not fair. I'm not the one making the drug. Why should I suffer for something I did not cause?
If you hadn't been so greedy, you wouldn't have had to abdicate your position to Santiago.
Those look comfortable.
They are.
So let's keep walking.
Okay. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi.
That was wonderful. You can hear, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great. At the beginning, it was a little funny, but anyway. So, welcome, Nicole. Finally, we're live and having a great. We're gonna talk about your work, your film, your theater, and the current issue. So, can we just start with something very current?
Yes.
I'll take the liberty of. How do you feel about last night's debate?
Oh my God. It was such a shit show. Not that I expected anything else. You know, I expected it to be a shit show. But for 45 to be so evil, childish, and I mean, it looked like a mad person had gotten in there by accident. There was nothing presidential about it. It was an embarrassment to the nation.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a watch party with Youngin, and at least we were talking about it and writing about it, and then I think otherwise I would be. It's a different emotions. Sometimes I feel really embarrassed by him, the way he talks, the way he interrupts, right? And sometimes feels sad. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. So anyway, we'll just hope the world will turn around. So Nicole, I met you a few years ago at the Socially Relevant Film Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were giving an award in the end party, and then later on some other occasion. You're very involved with the Socially Relevant Film Festival, right? You're a judge.
Nora Armani is a good friend. She's an actress, a producer. She created this festival, Socially Relevant Film Festival, and she asked me to be one of the judges. I think I was a judge twice in a row, and now I'm on the board. They do great work, socially relevant films, which is something that interests me, of course.
Yeah. So I'm going to introduce you to our audience who are not familiar who Nicole is. I'm just going to read a short version of your biography. And Nicole can be found in also the actor's website, right? It's called what do you call that?
Yeah, IMDb. Yeah,
IMDb.
I don't have a personal website. I'm creating one right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But as an actor, I mean, all I need is IMDb because all
Yeah.
my at least film work is on there.
Yeah. So let me read just the part of the even shorter, and the biography is in the description of this video. You can check it out, and also her website. So Nicole and Ansari, is that right pronunciation? Ansari, yeah, is an actress. Ansari is an actress, director, and producer of film, TV, and stage. In London, she has worked at the Royal Court and in the West End, transferring to Broadway, the world premiere of Tom Stoppard's Rock and Roll, directed by Trevor Nunn. She's also a founding member of the Shakespeare Company Berlin. Recent leading role for the stage, off-Broadway and regional are Daybreak at Beckett, New York City. I Am Antigone. I went to that show. It was wonderful. I'm Antigone at theater for a
I'm
Antigone.
Antigone.
I am Antigone. Sorry, the pronunciation. Thank you for correcting me. Singers, for Gar, New Rep, Boston, the Mirror Theater, and Island of Slaves, Shakespeare and Company. And Nicole has done lots of great film works. You worked with like incredible directors like Steven Soderbergh and also Soderbergh and Spike Lee and many of them. So I'm not going to keep reading those credits so people can see it. So we can talk about these project later on, okay? And then the most important thing is recently you are working on this project of like a theater stage, but internet theater stage.
Well, it's a new media show, so it's not really theater. Yeah,
we can talk about that later, okay? So we would like to know, and then it's very soon, right? The production is
our first show is on Friday night.
Wow, awesome. So I like to always find out my guests like their upbringing. So tell us a little bit like where you were born and how your upbringing is sort of influence you, make you to be, the artist today you are.
Well, I grew up in Germany with a German mother and a Persian father. And I lived there until I was 18, I believe. I went to drama school first in Hamburg, Stage School of Dance and Drama. It was kind of a mix, musical theater, dance, a lot of dance. And then I got hired to into my first repertory company to Zurich in Switzerland. So when I first went to Switzerland, I thought I would then come back to Germany and continue my career in Germany, but that didn't happen. So after Switzerland, I felt I did a couple of years there, and I did a couple of movies while I was in Switzerland, really fantastic stuff. Like we were invited to all the festivals, Russia, in Toronto, and it was truly extraordinary with a half Iraqi, half Swiss filmmaker called Samir. And he's pretty brilliant and had a lot of foresight. And I ended up wanting to study more. So I came to New York, and it was all very strange. But in a nutshell, I ended up at the Actors Studio with Susan Batson, working with Susan Batson. She's a very renowned coach now of Juliette Binoche, Nicole Kidman, like all of these people, Jessica Lange. And I worked with the legendary Uta Hagen. I auditioned for her scene study class and later on for a Shakespeare master class. And she took me on, which was incredible. She is an inspiration for so many actors, and was truly a genius. She created the HB Studios together with Herman Burkhoff. So I ended up here, and I always wanted to come back here. But then I got an offer to do a movie and a play in Germany. Went back to Germany. While I was there, I had like a little hiatus from the theater. Went to Paris to visit my friend who had gotten married to this fashion designer. So I ended up in this whole fashion world with Naomi Campbell and princes walking in and out. And I thought, what am I doing here? And one day I remembered a colleague of mine, Valeria Bruni Tedeschi. She's a famous Italian-French actress, who told me, you should go and work with Ariane Mnouchkine in Paris because you're the kind of actor she would love. And I remembered that as I was sitting there being served a very luscious lunch. My friend was a model and she was pregnant at the time. And so I said, in the middle of lunch, I said, I need to call the Théâtre du Soleil. So I called them and I said, qu'est-ce que vous faites? And they went, mais qu'est-ce que vous faites? No, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Qu'est-ce que vous faites? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And they were like, are you an actress? Because my French wasn't that good. So I had very limited, I was like, what are you doing right now? What I meant to say is, are you performing right now? Can I come and see a show? But I didn't have the words. So I just kept saying, what are you doing? They went, oh, vous êtes une actrice. Are you an actress? And I said, yes. And they said, are you calling for the audition? I said, yes. So this is how I ended up auditioning at the Théâtre du Soleil. It was a long process that took first there were 1,000 people for a week just going for an interview. This was to audition for the stage workshop that was 3 weeks long with the legendary Ariane Mnouchkine. I had no idea what I was doing there. I just felt this burning and that this was exciting. And so I kept coming and we would improvise all day. And we would improvise with masks and the Balinese mask and with the Italian masks, the Venetian masks. So the Commedia dell'arte, which I was not trained in. So it was hard for me to I came from the actor studio, all of a sudden, I'm doing mask work. I thought, whoa, it was very overwhelming, but I ended up doing the workshop. I was, chosen to be in the workshop, and it kept every week. She kept saying, you stay, you go, you stay, you go, until we were 8 people left at the end of 3 months.
Wow.
And she came to me and she said, Nicole, at this point, you must believe that I am interested in you joining this company.
Whoa.
The question is, are you ready? And do you want to do this? And if it's a yes, I say, welcome to hell. À l'enfer. And she was right in one way, but wrong in another way, because it was maybe the most extraordinary artistic experience of my life. I ended up being with them for 2.5 years. We toured all over Europe. And because you really felt, or I really felt the muse kissing us. That experience, that religious experience on stage where you feel like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. This is the most religious, most sacred, most beautiful experience right here in the now, in the present moment, as Eckhart Tolle talks about the present, and in communion with the audience, doing important work. So it was incredible, but it was also extremely painful. Her methods and the way she would dismiss us and build us up, break us down, it was very intense. So after these 2 years, we were touring, and this director had found had seen me and asked me if I wanted to be in a production. This was after I left the Soleil. He called me in Paris, and I was squatting at a friend's home, literally like couch surfing because I had no more income. and he said, yeah, I have this show that I would like you to do. It's about Alma Mahler-Werfel, Gustav Mahler's wife. She was the muse of the last century. You as a classical musician must know her work, and of course Gustav Mahler. And so I met the producer because I didn't go back to Vienna in those days. There was no cell phones or anything. So he said, "Where are you going to be in the next 2 weeks?" And I said, "I'm actually going to Barcelona to Sitges on a retreat." And he went, "Oh, that's funny because my producer is going to Barcelona." So we literally figured out a date, a time, and a coffee shop where I would meet the producer and he would give me the script. And this is how it happened. So I literally met this stranger and he went, "Alma, here you are."
Wow.
I mean, I read it and it was overwhelmingly amazing. And it was Joshua Sobol who wrote it, the Israeli writer, with whom I recently worked with my husband doing Sinners in London. This was the last play just before we literally closed the day where everything was shutting down with the pandemic. That's
it's just amazing. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. The Sinner, the
Sinners.
production. Yeah, Sinners.
Yeah. So, so we did Alma. Do you want to continue this, going back to how I ended up in New York?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to talk about Alma?
Talk about how you ended up in New York.
Okay, so because there's a little bit of story in between. So we did Alma, and Alma was like a promenade show where the audience was invited to be a camera, and a camera can zoom in, a camera can do a wide angle, a camera cannot stand in the way, and the camera cannot use any props. So the audience would literally follow us like on these trails. And, like sometimes we would come into a room. We did this in an abandoned sanatorium, actually a sanatorium where Gustav Mahler and Alma went outside of Vienna. And, I had moments where I was literally sitting next to an audience member. This is how close it was. So we did that show, and it became such a hit that it's still running. It was deemed, or they called it, Cats for Intellectuals.
That's pretty forward thinking. I mean, that's a long time ago, right? Yeah.
What's that?
That Alma show is a long time ago. It's pretty forward thinking.
Oh yeah. This is 20 years ago. But Alma is still running.
Like multimedia.
Every year it's being rebooted. It had its 20th anniversary. Like last year, I went there for the 20th anniversary, and I also did it in Venice. So I literally moved the whole family. Like I just had a baby to Venice, and we were in Venice, which was absolutely incredible. So I did that, and then another director saw me and got me to do Cyrano de Bergerac at the Volkstheater, the public theater in Vienna. From there, I worked at the public theater as a guest for about 2 years, doing Much Ado About Nothing, writing, co-writing the one-woman show Romy, Romy, Me, about Romy Schneider, the actress Romy Schneider. And that was the last show I did. And I did the musical Irma la Douce, playing Irma. And then I felt again that phase was done. So I said to my good friend Laia, a wonderful choreographer who did the choreography and the costumes for Sinners in London. I said to her, let's go to America. Let's just, visit and do something. So we went to Florida. We went to LA. Went to visit her sister. I went to visit my ex in Canada. And we ended up in New York. And that's where I met my husband. Or re-met my husband, because I'd met him 8 years prior to that. So I met him, and that changed the course of my life, because we fell in love. Instead of moving from Vienna to Berlin, I'd already sent all my stuff to Berlin when my sister was living, because I figured, I finally want to start my German career, because I'd been in Switzerland, France, Austria, everywhere but Germany. And then I met Brian. And I ended up moving in with him to London. And then we moved to LA. And then we had our first baby. Then we moved back to London. Then we moved back to LA. We had the second baby, Orson and Torin. They're now 18 and 15.
Wow.
And then we both got cast in Rock and Roll, which you mentioned at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So we went back to London, where we have a house, did the show in the West End, at the Royal Court in the West End. That transferred to Broadway a year later.
Mm.
And ta-da!
Wow.
Back to New York. So it took all these years for me to finally get back to New York. Brian didn't want to be in New York. So we ended up selling our house in LA, because we said we didn't want to go back to LA. Luckily, we sold it literally before the crash. And he really didn't want to stay, but I really wanted to stay. And the kids were already in, pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, and they were happy here. And I was happy here, because this has been the place where I have always felt like I'm not a stranger. In New York, I feel like I'm a New Yorker.
You belong here.
Yeah, I belong here. So everywhere I've lived, including the country where I was born, I always felt like different. I don't quite belong. I'm not quite the same. And here I'm a New Yorker. So this is how I ended up. I'm sorry about the long story.
No. It's fascinating. You have such a interesting journey, and being so many different places, different country, and I think not everybody has such luxurious life journey. You are still very, very young, and so in terms of your actress, you of course you act, and now you also direct, and you also produce. So I have a question. You see, I think about your. I make films, but I'm a more or less documentary style. I don't really need a script, I mean, other than treatment. But I was just wondering how, when I play a symphony, right? I need to know my own parts. Say I'm a viola, so I play the viola. And then I also like to read the score, which is all the essence. Music, say Mahler Symphony is all in the score. You look at the score. When you are a director, okay, I guess I have a question about that. Is when you look at a script, so there's so many questions I don't know about what director really does. And do you interpret how your actor is going to do, or do you visualize, what exactly direct do? Tell me, other than you have a script.
Well, what does a director do? You know what I always say, and it's a little bit of it is true. As a sort of joke, I always say, like, I love directing, because as a director suits my brain. Directing suits my brain, because my brain is a little bit. These days I would probably be diagnosed with ADHD. As a director, your focus needs to be everywhere at the same time, which is very ADHD, right? The costume department asks you something, the lighting guy, the gaffer comes to you, the camera, the actors. You need to be everywhere at the same time and to be able to zone in. This is film, obviously. I'm not talking about theater directing. It's very different.
Yeah.
But you direct traffic. So a little bit of it is literally like, oh yeah, this angle is not good. Let's get this car out of the way. You're directing traffic, but a director is kind of somebody who doesn't know how to do anything really well, but knows how to do everything a little bit.
That's funny.
And of course, I mean this with the greatest respect and love,
Right.
because really, truly, what makes a great director, in my book, and I hope to be one day, is the vision. And that I have a lot of vision. Like my sense is very visual. So I love the visual medium. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So now, as far as film or theater, when you perform on stage or when you do many takes for a film, do you have to be most of the time? Do you have to like really read the lines, or sometimes you have liberty of improvise when you do a role? I guess it depends on who, right? Which show. Yeah.
Some writers are sticklers to truly not deviate from any word they wrote. They want it to be absolutely so. And some writers are happy if the actor takes the idea on, and then starts to riff a little bit, making it more palatable for their own language, the language of the character. The show that we're doing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, called the O'Leary Theory, which is loosely based on King Lear, is actually super interesting because we have the framework. Every scene is written out in terms of what needs to happen, in terms of what needs to be communicated, but it's interactive, so the audience has a choice, and there are live polls that are created. Like, let's say there is a scene, and then it says, do you want to know about Rhea? Do you want to know about Corden? Do you want to know about Gary? Or shall we stay with Jerry? And then the audience live is going to say, I want to stay with Jerry. And then we see the poll, who won, and then that scene will play, and we improvise. So we get our cues from the audience of what they want to see, like where, so the story will never be the same. Similar to Alma, like in Alma, we had these parallel worlds where the audience either left with Gustav Mahler, or with Alma Mahler, or with Kempinski. No, not Kempinski. Klimt, Gustav Klimt, or any of the other artists. And here, the audience can choose the course of action. We actually improvise. So, of course, we've rehearsed a lot, so we know what we're improvising, but it will be fresh and new every time, which is, it's super exciting. It's something that I haven't done a lot as an actor, improvising, and I always thought I was bad at it. But I don't think so, because I just did a movie called Making the Day, which is in, I believe, in the what you will share as well later on. And in Making the Day, we literally improvised for about 7-8 hours. Cameras were rolling, 2 different cameras for 7-8 hours, and he cut the scene down as we were riffing. And it was the most exciting shooting day as an actor for me. It
Wow.
was so free and so awesome. But of
Mhm.
course, as a director, you have to create, the other thing that you are as a director is you are the mother and father.
Mm.
You are like you have to create a space for other people to do their best work.
Right.
So if you are overwhelming and intimidating, they're not going to do the best work. So you have to sort of like draw it out of them. And there is, of course, many, many ways to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we share the newest reel with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to figure out how to do watch party, but I
Okay.
can't seem to get it going.
Okay.
So I'll share it later.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do that. You want to do that now? Just yeah.
Well, I just don't know how to do it here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you
I don't
have
see a share button here.
Yeah, you need to be on another device or go on. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know how to do it on StreamYard.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna. This is a real. Tell us a little bit. This is about altogether 6 minutes. Probably will play 3 minutes because the second part is all in German, which is very sexy.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a little bit. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cute. It's
There's some
really
great
cute.
scenes
Yeah.
there.
Okay. So let's see. All right. Okay.
Precious darling Clementine. And you, Donahue, you played marvelously. Good. You remember what the fourth object was?
Jello?
No, it wasn't Jello.
A clown with a Richard Nixon false face on.
No. Any other idea?
Yeah. A comb.
Very good, Claude. It was a comb.
Lollipop.
Lust. Lawyer. I could be a lawyer. I was supposed to go to law school. My father wanted me to be a lawyer. I could be a lawyer. I don't really want to be a lawyer, but I could be a lawyer.
Lawyer. No. This is not about your father. This is not about you being a lawyer. This is about you playing a lawyer.
Play a lawyer?
Yeah. It could be.
I can play a lawyer.
No, it's not a
I could
play.
play like a lawyer in my sleep. I could play like a.
No, but she's brunette.
I can
Like
brunette.
what I see is.
So, do you know how many wigs I
see a
have at
brunette.
home?
This is.
What?
Oh my God, I'm getting chills all over my body. This is like a, I don't know, movie or something, and you're gonna star in this movie.
Oh, come on.
I heard the name, Linda, I think.
Linda? So I should look out for this.
Lindsay, maybe Lindsay.
What you're saying is that there is a role that is out there that I'm going to play.
That you're
I'm meant to
born
play.
to
That I'm
play.
born to play.
Absolutely amazing.
she's a lawyer?
Strong. She's willful. She's.
Katharine Hepburn.
No, I love.
So a
Katharine Hepburn.
lawyer.
Yeah. You know you have that long.
Yes, Mama.
Sweetheart, remember what I told you. This is your punishment, your pain. Conquer it, own it, learn to love it. It will no longer be pain. The pain will purge your sins. Begin to count down.
6, 5, 4.
Come back, Edward. Come back now.
Take your punishment, boy. Don't dare turn your back on me, boy. Come back, you little bastard!
I already told you, there's no way.
All we want to do is audit one of their meetings.
Bob, you can't go to one of the meetings. Those rowdies have been telling us to send the bigger puppets.
The Security Council may decide The Security Council, nicht du nur. Ja, das heißt nicht, dass du einfach rumlaufen kannst und Leute einfach in den Kopf schießen kannst. Hast du das überhaupt gelesen? Hast du dir jemals dieses kleine Buch in die Hand genommen und hast es gelesen? Vielleicht solltest du nicht meinen Kampf lesen die ganze Zeit, sondern einfach auch mal in den Kader reingucken, ja?
Oh, macht Spaß, wird sehen. So, und wir nehmen jetzt unsere 2 Finger, so, konzentriert euch da. Eure Finger sind super stark. Ein Kran der Häuser. Und du, Reinhold, stell dir mal vor, du bist ganz leicht. Wie eine Feder.
Wie eine Feder.
Das hat alles nichts gebracht. Die ganze Nummer hat nichts gebracht.
Aber was denn für eine Nummer? So, was soll das? Was habe ich dir getan?
Du gar nicht. Es geht nicht immer um dich, verstehst du?
Maria! Maria! Maria!
Lass mich los!
Nein! 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 Maria! Maria!
Ich weiß, du hast mich geliebt. Ich weiß, Liebe geht viele Wege, aber deine Liebe hat mich getötet. Ich war nicht deine Frau, ich war dein Kind, Papi. Es tut so weh.
Maria, ich bin Zoll. Zoll.
Zoll, geht's dir besser?
Mir geht's gut, wie geht's dir?
Hat das Experiment gewirkt?
Was für ein Experiment?
Ja, das, wofür ich engagiert wurde von eurem Agenten auf der Finca als euer Coach. Damit ihr endlich aufwacht. Euch nicht mehr verstecken müsst. Endlich
I think
authentisch werden.
most viewers don't understand German thing.
It's okay.
Die Finca.
I couldn't stop because it's so great, even if I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
So wonderful. So, what was that scene about, dear?
The last one?
Yeah.
So this is a movie. It's a movie within a movie. It's called Die Liebe Deines Lebens, the love of your life. And I play this coach, this kind of life coach who lives, in the beauty of Mallorca, the island of Mallorca. It's a Spanish island. A lot of Germans live there. And this group of actors comes there to make a movie. And then the director really doesn't like what they're doing. And so, and the blonde guy is one of the actors. And it all starts to break down, and they all start to psychologically break down. And I start to coach them. And the director then sneakily starts to film them while they're breaking down in their, and being vulnerable and real, because that's what he wanted in the first place, was authenticity. And what happens is that my character, Maria, who is the love interest of that guy, and she's also interested in him, but she's so screwed up emotionally and personally. Like, she coaches others, but she herself has not dealt with the sexual abuse that she experienced on the hands of her father, which is coming out in this scene, where she literally has like a flashback and says, but you are not my lover, you are my father. And he's like, hey, trying to wake her up. So it's quite dramatic.
Wow, very dynamic. Yeah. So I have a lot of questions for actors for acting, because I'm not an actor, so it's always feels such a mysterious profession. Like how you again, you read, I guess, first, right, the script, and then you have to put yourself in the character, and you have to portray this character. Can you walk us a little bit, like how is the work process goes from beginning until you on stage, or in film is a little different, right? Film, it's so segmented. Maybe just talk about like being a theater actress. Like, okay, so let's be more specific. Is I went to see your show. How does it say?
Antigone.
Antigone. Yeah,
I
it's
Am
a
Antigone.
it's a very powerful show, a very emotional. Like you have to do so many nights in a row. How did you prepare that role from beginning to when you perform?
Yeah, the Antigone, I Am Antigone was a really intense process. So I Am Antigone is about Antigone, and it is sort of a modern take on the story. And Creon, the king, who didn't want her brother to be buried. It's all about the burial of her brother, and she wants justice, which is something that we experience now also with the Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of sisters and mothers and people want to see the proper burial of the sons that were killed, right? Proper burial, not in the literal sense only, but justice. It's about justice. And Shaudamini Segrist, who wrote the script, she was kind enough to do the lines with me, because I literally was speaking an hour and 15 minutes almost without interruption. It was not a monologue. There were definitely dialogue scenes, but I never shut up. I was either in a monologue or in a dialogue. So I freaked out, learning so many lines. It's like I've done it before, but every time it's just torture. And I learn best when somebody feeds me the lines. And we were literally doing it here in the summer. I was pacing up and down on my terrace while Shaudamini would feed me the lines when I needed. Feed me the lines. We even went upstate and did some intense work there. So the first thing for me is always the script, is the story, is can I emotionally already connect to the character? Or if I can't connect to the character, I'll either say, I'm not interested in doing this, or I'll say, this is a challenge. Let me find another way in. So there are so many different approaches, Ching. I can't really say, oh, this is how I start and this is where I end up, because each character enters in a different way. I once couldn't find an entrance into a character because I played a very demure woman who's being physically abused by her husband and then finally divorces him. This was in the theater. I couldn't find an entrance to the character because I just couldn't connect to somebody who would let themselves be abused. So what I did is in that way. So what I did is I went all the way back to Anton Chekhov, literally like page 10 of his book, and went, okay, find the gait of the character. How does this character walk? So I put on some high heels and I put on a really narrow skirt and I just started walking, and as I found that walk, like my voice changed, my posture changed, and I found a way into this character. So once I got back into rehearsals, the director said, wow, I really like this. How did you come up with that? I said, well, I'm Anton Chekhov. So when in doubt, you can either go like Laurence Olivier from the outside in, or like most American actors from the inside out. It's that debate of where you start, but ultimately where you want to end up. You want to keep your body nimble. You want to keep your emotions nimble. So that's why, for me, actors are truly heroic, because we dare to tap into emotions and go to places that can be so dark, that can be so desperate, that can be so vulnerable and agonizing. or joyful or sensual or whatever is needed, and then expose it to the world, like offer it. So there's a vulnerability that you need as an actor, and an empathy, and no judgment. Like if you come in with an idea about the character and too much judgment and all coming from here, there are actors who work like that, who work intellectually, and now my character is doing this, and I think my character should do that. That has never interested me, and that's the kind of acting that does not interest me much. So there is so many different approaches, but ultimately for me, and I'm actually working on an actors program right now, where I want to bring in the work that I've been doing spiritually, as a yoga therapist, etc. Acting really is a shamanic art, meaning we use the shamanic realm, the realm where we converse with spirit. Writers do that too. Like, when they say the muse was kissing me and it was flowing through me, that is a moment. A shaman is the person who connects to earth and the sky and the spirits, and that's what we do.
Yeah. So I wanted to thank our audience. We have some people have been watching us. Let's see. We have Tracy Russell.
Oh yeah, Tracy.
Yeah, hi Tracy. She said, Nicole, excited for your conversation with Ching Juhl. Dion is my very close friend, my son's godmother. And we have Nick, my hardcore Young friend, and we have Young friend Al saying hello, and Dion also made a comment, and Dion know Nick too, Al, and then Nick said, Nick makes always making great comments, inspired performance. I don't speak or understand German, but I can still follow it. That's a gift. So they were enjoying your German reel.
Thanks, Nick.
And Arthur, thank you. Arthur said, you are amazing, Nicole. I can bring people's comment also onto the screen. And who else? Let's see. Tracy, we don't need to understand.
Arthur Macarian is our director for the O'Leary theory. He's absolutely wonderful, and it is such an exciting project. So I'm excited that you're watching, Arthur.
Thank you, Arthur. You're here, and your friend Tracy. We don't need to understand the words to understand the emotions. So powerful. And then my young friend. I have a lot of young friends. Peter.
Yes, I love Jung. Carl Jung. Are you talking about Jung?
No, I'm talking about Youngen.
Oh, yes. Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang. So I have a lot of Youngen supports me, and they come to visit my show. By the way, I do this show on Wednesdays, sometimes Monday, mostly Wednesdays. And today is episode number 58. So I've been doing it since late March.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. So at the beginning, I talked to Youngen as a group because I miss my Youngen. Because Andrew Yang exit suspended his campaign February 11th, and then pandemic March, and then I start to talk to my Youngen on internet, and then it evolved into interviewing person one by one. So I interviewed a lot of musicians, jazz musician, classical musician, politician, artist, designer, people running for offices. So like next Wednesday, I'm interviewing Corey Ortega. Corey. He's running for New York City Council. So anyway, lots of people and artists, and Nicole. I always want to pick Nicole's brain. I'm trying to figure out so many wonderful you always are very I see you mostly at the socially relevant film festival events, right? And then now tell me a little bit, you are also very involved with activism in terms of a women's issue and minority issue. And tell us a little about that, please.
Yeah. So we were talking about Sinners early on, which is the play by Joshua Sobol that my husband Brian Cox directed. And we first did it here in a sort of workshop production up in Vermont. And then we brought it to Boston. We haven't yet done it in New York, but that's hopefully the next stop. It's a play about a woman in an unnamed Middle Eastern country who is buried up to the waist, about to be stoned to death for adultery. And it's a two-hander. So the other person on stage is her young lover who has to collect the stones for her stoning. So a few years ago, Joshua, who also wrote Alma that we talked about that I did 20 years ago, we also did, by the way, a 3-part mini-series for Arte, which is a European art channel. And he sent me the script and he said, Nicole, I think this is a good part for you. And I read it barely because I was sobbing so hard reading the script that I couldn't read the lines. It is so, so powerful. Because Layla, the woman who is actually an English professor in an unnamed Muslim country, she is actually a free woman. She's a woman who has tapped into her sensuality and opened up her sexuality to this young student, and of course has committed the highest crime, which is adultery. And women still can get stoned to death for this crime in 18 different countries in the world, all Muslim countries. And the men can save their own ass. I'm sorry that I have to say it that way, by throwing the first stone and condemning her. So, here in the West, like there's this sense like, oh, we're all free and everything. For me, as a half Middle Eastern woman, my father is from Iran, I feel an obligation to women who do not have the voice, to give voice to that cause, to give voice to her needs, to her cries. And Sinners did that in such a profound way. We had discussions with the audience that would go on endlessly because people were so moved and couldn't believe that this is still a practice. Now, when you look at the stoning of women, here in the West, we don't have anything like that. But are we free? Are we being paid the same thing? Do we get listened to? Are our stories told? No. So I will not stop telling these stories, unearthing these stories, and hopefully bringing these stories to wider audience until my last breath. That is something that really drives me. And in the O'Leary theory, for example, it's about a family that they were reality show stars. And then 10 years later, the father is trying to reboot them. But what happens is that the audience can change the course of action, and the audience determines where they're going next. And like in the Big Brother show, who gets kicked out and who gets cast off the island and all of that stuff. Like stoning doesn't happen in the West, but isn't that some sort of stoning? Isn't what we're doing to women in that sense, a stoning and doing to people. So we're doing it, but it's hidden, and it doesn't look like stoning. So it doesn't seem that crazy. Like another person that I just want to tie in, who I'm about to work with, who is one of my favorite artists of all time, is Shirin Nishat. She's an Iranian Persian artist, and she has done a lot of videos, footage on Muslim women, Muslim men, bringing in her own heritage into her work, and the suppression of women, the blatant condemnation of sexuality and sensuality and the woman's voice. And this is what's happening, the plundering of the earth, of what we are seeing right now, the way we plunder the earth, and she is called Mother Earth, is the same way the patriarchy has been plundering, pillaging, and raping women. So there's a parallel between what I'm getting chills. There's a parallel between what is happening to our planet and to our women. And if we don't understand that the restoration of the power of women leading us, nurturing us, that's going to save our planet.
Yeah, well said.
Big words, but I believe it's true.
Tracy, your friend Russell, has a question for you.
Except for Hillary Clinton. No, I mean there's plenty of women who should.
Do you have an answer for Tracy's question? If you could play any woman from history, who would she be?
I don't know. Madame Bovary. I can't. Right now, I literally can't think. But who was that spy? Who was that Russian spy? There's tons of films that we've been doing. I would love to play some something like that. I forgot her name right now. It's hard to say. I feel that the woman that I want to play has to be invented and created, maybe by me.
Yeah, and now in the personal level, say, do you prefer to play your role as your true, very close to your age, or 20 years younger? Is it possible? Or if someone asks you to play someone is 10 years older, like how do you guys like deal with that? Because I don't have to, I mean, I'm not an actor, so I have no idea how you deal with that.
In the theater, everything is possible. So what I love about the theater, like for example, if you think about Antigone, I Am Antigone, there's a moment in I Am Antigone where Antigone talks about when she was a child. And there's a whole section where she is on the swing and she becomes a child again. And she has that playfulness. And so I remember that moment and I felt like I was a child again. And my good friends, J.O. Sanders and his wife, they came to me afterwards and they said, my favorite part was when you played the child. It was so joyful and so authentic. It was like you were that child. So in the theater, you can do that. Of course, on screen, you can see the aging process. I mean, luckily I'm pretty blessed with my genes, but I'm not going to play a 20-year-old, and that's fine. A lot of people try to keep themselves to look younger by using all kinds of plastic surgery and injections and stuff. To me, they do not look younger. They look like people who don't have wrinkles. Nothing moves.
Stiff.
But they don't look younger. They look like desperate old people who hate themselves who want to look younger. And that, for me, is very unattractive. I, of course, as an actress, I'm toying with the idea constantly. Shall I do something?
Yeah.
Shall I do a little bit here, a little bit there, just a little bit? But you start with a little bit, and then all of a sudden you look like
you look like a plastic.
May I just say, if I can look like Jane Fonda at age 80, I'll do any kind of plastic surgery that is needed.
Yeah, that's funny. So how did you meet Brian, and how is marrying someone who does the same work, is that kind of intimidating? Because especially he's famous, he's done a lot of work. How do you deal with that? Do you talk about work? It's like, hey, how did I do that? Do you treat him as like equal as a colleague, or you say, hey, help me, like correct me or teach me? I'm just curious about you and Brian's dynamic. Tell us, who is Brian Cox, please? Hi,
In a
Brian.
nutshell, just 2 minutes.
A little bit.
Like the presidential debate, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
2 minutes.
Do not interrupt me. I love being married to somebody who understands the creative process that you have to go through as an actor, because when we tap in, everything else has to go, and that is hard as a mother, because the children still have needs, and you still need to provide, and you still need to. So usually the woman in the relationship has to kind of give and abandon a little bit of that selfishness that is needed as an artist in order to create. We talk about work a lot. We have very similar artistic interests, like a lot of the same filmmakers, art, creative process, and it is so wonderful to have somebody who is on the same wavelength. So I don't think I could be with somebody who doesn't understand the makings of how I create, unless they would give me a lot of space to do that. But it's so much more interesting to bounce back and forth at each other. Of course, it's sometimes frustrating that he is getting the big jobs, and I'm doing the off-Broadway show that hopefully we can get 99 people in. Of course, I remember there was a moment where the doorbell rang, and there was a courier. This was when we were living in London, and it came with a script, and it was super like secret, right? It was literally printed on it, like secret, super secret, and it was from Woody Allen.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't sign for it. It had to be Brian, and then he had to give it back by the end of the day, like literally, and was only given his scene. So when I held the Woody Allen script in my hand, I was like, fuck me. I want to work with fucking Woody Allen, but now I'm not so sure, But other than that, I am just really proud of him, and I admire him for his work. He's one of the seminal actors of our time.
Mhm.
And when I first saw him, this was 8 years before we met. He was doing King Lear. King Lear or Leary, interesting. He was doing King Lear with the National Theater, and they were touring and arrived in Germany, in Hamburg. And I sort of helped to welcome them and prepare the theater, etc. And when I first saw him on stage playing King Lear, he made me sob. And I said, I've never seen an English actor be so meticulous and excellent with his Shakespeare delivery and be so emotionally connected at the same time. And of course, he is not English, he's Scottish. And Scottish people are very different from English people. You know, English people are more held in general.
More
you know,
stiff.
more stiff upper lip. So more from the head up. And Scottish people are visceral, like from the earth, salt of the earth, you know. And so that impressed me a lot. And also he's very, very kind. I know he plays always the baddies, but he is the kind of person that I know other than my dad. Nicest man I know. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Tracy made a comment earlier to your earlier comment.
Yes, Tracy.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's so hard.
Yeah.
Because
you
as an
didn't see-
artist, you need the space. You know,
I
we
didn't-
did a whole show on that
Yeah.
with Irina Brooke,
Yeah.
which was called La Vie Matérielle, or Shakespeare's sister. And it was all about if Shakespeare had a sister and she didn't, and she had been allowed to go to school and had that training, would she have been a great writer like him? And it was a mix between Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, which I urge everybody to read, which was one of the first feminist manifestos, basically saying a woman needs a space, a room of her own, and if enough money so she can create, so she can be creative and nourish herself, so she can continue to nourish the family and whoever she wants to nourish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Al said you look like a 40s. Did you
Yes,
see that?
I am.
Very nice.
I just had an audition before this show, and yes, it was actually for a younger person. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
So I don't really get it. What as Nick was saying, Salt was compelling, and Jennifer Lawrence in Red Sparrow.
Yeah, they're talking about different movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Also, I have a complete block on Tracy's question, and it's still in my head. Like, who would I like?
Oh,
to
yeah,
play? It's still in my head. Cleopatra. I'd love to play Cleopatra. How is that?
Yeah. That's a very noble character. Shall we play one more video? Which one you would like me to play?
You want to play the dance video, and I'll just introduce it and say what it is?
Oh, you mean the no sound, that one, the one with no sound.
It has music on it.
Dance? Are you talking about it's
the feminine masculine?
Yeah, from man become woman. That one
is something like that. Yeah.
There's no sound on that.
No, then don't play that because there's actually classical music that goes with it. That makes no sense.
Maybe at the beginning there's no sound. Could possible.
I don't know. You can try it, but this is something. So maybe we can go into the work that I've been doing recently, which I've been doing a lot of dance. And when I started as a young actress, I studied dance, And because I have a curvy body, it never occurred to me that I could be a dancer. And I'm glad that I chose to go the acting way. But I always loved expressing through dance. But recently, in the last few years, I started a feminine dance movement that gets you into your sensuality as a woman. And it's for women only. And we're in a room or on Zoom these days where women support each other in finding their authentic feminine movement. So I did the training and I now teach that movement. And my dear friend who I know from class, Jennifer X. Neumann, she created a startup company called Dance Her Story, danceherstory.com, where people, and you don't have to be a dancer to do this, create their own movement story.
Right.
It's like a movement story. And I did my movement story, and we were talking, and when you talk with her in that first appointment, it's all about, what do you want to tell? What story do you want to tell? And I said, well, I have this feminine and masculine that constantly plays in me. And it's not really a conflict. I don't feel I'm at conflict, but I'm in a dance with that feminine, masculine energy. And so that's became my movement story.
Yeah, so let's see. I wanted to show.
You can see Cleopatra. I don't know. I just. It's
Which
a great,
one? Young Lawrence.
Talking about the different. I'm still thinking about a historic figure that I would like to play. Yeah.
Wait, that one. Let's see. Is this the one? Let me see. Because they're so small, I can't really tell. Hold on one second.
See him.
Oh, not this one. Not this one.
Maybe I can find it for you.
Yeah, maybe you can find it for me. Okay.
But where would
okay. So there's a button called Share Screen. Do you see it?
Yes.
You click that. Then, depending on what their footage is at, what it says, then you have to go in to find it. Yeah. So it's a three-step thingy.
Story.com. So I have to find my
So
story.
if it's online, then you go to Chrome tab. Okay. If it's on your computer file, you just go to your entire screen. Okay. So it's a different way of looking.
This is online. This is a website that I would be sharing.
Yeah. You go to so when you click share screen, then you have three choices. The last choice is the Chrome tab. You click on that. Then you have to first find that clip first to bring it onto.
The clip.
Yeah. Okay.
I found the clip and I'm gonna share screen.
Yeah.
And it says
Chrome. Look for Chrome tab. You see that?
No, it doesn't say anything here.
No? Oh. When I click
share, Google Chrome.
Yeah, Chrome tab. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you click on Chrome tab. Then you go click on the link you found. Okay. Then you say share. But you make sure you have audio.
Do you see it now?
No, I don't see it. You also make sure you click on audio. Okay. Right now.
Is it playing now?
No. I don't see it.
Playing on my screen.
Oh, okay. So you're not sharing with me.
It's on YouTube.
Send me the link. You can send me the link, actually. Just put the link in the comment section right now. Can you make a comment?
Okay.
Give me a private link. Private chat. Give me a private chat link. Let me find it. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That we
we're just...
copy link. I did copy the link. And
okay.
I will
give it to me on private chat.
Okay.
And once I have that, I will open for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
There
I don't have it. Private chat. I don't have it. Are you talking about?
I did it.
I thought you sent to me to the private chat of StreamYard.
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah. I don't have it. Oh, now I do. Sorry, dear. Okay, I found it. Okay, great. See, we're very techie people. Yeah.
We're getting there.
We're techie. Yeah.
Oh, Tracy's saying, I'm a fantastic dance teacher. Thank you so much, Tracy. I miss you in class.
Oh, she's. Oh, okay. So I find it where the masculine meets the feminine. Okay.
Feminine, yes.
Okay. Now, I go back. Okay, I found the video. Then I click on share screen. Then I go to Chrome tab. Then I go to where the feminine thing, and then I make sure share the audio. Okay, that's the step. Okay, here we go.
Yay.
Yes.
And then you make the screen bigger, like make it bigger.
Okay, bigger.
At the lower half, yeah.
It's not that big.
This is okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest I can make there. Why is the 2 layers?
That's the video.
Oh, okay.
We shot this during the pandemic, by the way.
Badass. Wow. Right. Wonderful, wonderful. Very innovative. So, great. Let's put this, come back to us. Yes, wonderful. So, quickly.
I love Nick. I love you for saying you can play any historical badass woman. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so very quickly, before we do rapid fire, I have a question for you. Is that you are going to shoot a film with some famous people in November? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was mentioning already Shirin Neshat, who is a visual artist, and this is her feature film called Land of Dreams, which is about the immigrant experience post-Trump and post the building of the wall. It is about a young Iranian woman, a census worker, so she is an immigrant, who was one of the last immigrants that were being let into the country. America has been shut down to all other countries in this fictional story that is co-written by her and the famous French author Jean-Claude Carrière. And he is 92, so this is big that he wrote the play, the film with her, and I play her mother, and I have to speak Farsi in the movie. I play the mother, and I also play another figure because it goes in and out of dreamscape, a little bit like the video that we just saw, where it goes in and out of, is this fiction? Is this real? Is this a vision? Is this a dream? Was this a memory from yesterday? So it's a little bit David Lynchian in that way.
Right.
Beautiful. And Isabella Rossellini is in it, Mimi Driver, and Matt Dillon. So these are all
great cast
that I've admired for so long, and it was cast by Lena Todd, casting director Lena Todd, and I've known Lena for many years as a friend, and we never worked together, just meeting each other at different film festivals in Berlin mostly, and here in New York. And this came to me, and it was like a dream come true. And we're shooting in New Mexico, in near Albuquerque, and I just can't wait to be there. Right now, there is no quarantining needed, but we'll see. We definitely all have to get tested and be social distanced on the set, and all be in a pod together. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Great. Well, thank you, audience. You've been very supportive and a lot of nice comments. And please watch me and my guests on Wednesdays. And also, please consider subscribing my YouTube channel. I just became YouTube partner 2 weeks ago. So now
congratulations.
My videos, when you click on my videos, you may get annoying advertisement, but maybe I'll make 1 cent or 2 cents. So the first week I made $2.86.
Well, it can only go up.
Yeah, but it's more or less a status thing for me, because I feel like I'm being recognized for my hard work. And so before we do rapid fire, we're going to do rapid fire with Nicole. And any questions for me, Nicole?
Yeah, so I'm interested how you went, because you're a classical musician. You're a solo violinist.
Violist. Sorry.
Violist. Oh, sorry. And my question is, how did you come here, and how did you end up making movies?
Wow, this question will take another an hour and a half. I'll do a quick version.
We'll reverse it another.
Yeah, you interview me
I'll
next time.
interview you.
Yeah. So a quick version is how I came to United States. After I studied music in China, I was born in Shanghai, and after my conservatory years over, and then at those days, it's a very popular thing to do is to come to this country to further your study. So that's why I came here, and I did my master's degree in also viola performance. And I always loved to shoot videos. So at the very beginning, I shot video for my mother because she's not with me. She's in China. So I want to shoot my life for her, basically. And then I start to accumulating, from very big machine, become smaller and smaller and smaller, from big tape, become smaller and smaller and smaller. So I have cases of footage I shot for my mother. And sometimes it's for my own study. I record my lessons, my viola lessons. So anyway, and gradually, I said, if I don't know how to edit, I will never become a real filmmaker. I just know how to shoot and also sort of untrained. So I went to NYU in 2008. I went to NYU study video production and film production. And so just sort of fast crash course, but I know everything, studied everything. Then I started to edit film myself. So since then, I made about 600 short films on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, and for Andrew Yang.
All to shame, Ching.
Yeah, for Andrew Yang course, I followed Andrew Yang for about 8 months, and I went to New York and Connecticut. I spent 2 weeks in Iowa, 3 weeks in New Hampshire. I made 123 works, like videos or sometimes live. So this is where I am now.
You're amazing. Can I ask you a question that is something current that happened yesterday in the debate? So
Please.
you are from China or Shanghai. Yesterday, the president referred to the coronavirus as the Chinese virus, and it's all the fault of the Chinese. Yeah. How do you, as a Chinese American, are you American now, or?
Yeah, I'm American.
As a Chinese American.
Wow.
How do you deal with that, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't feel incredibly insulted by when he says a Chinese virus, because almost everything he said is no logic, and he's blaming this thing to China. So he's blaming. He wants to put responsibility to a nation. It could be this virus is first started in Wuhan, but we still don't know exactly how Wuhan's virus started. Some people say it's American scientists went to Wuhan, brought the whole project to Wuhan. We don't know, So I just sort of don't listen to him, Donald Trump, whatever he says, and I think it's really a shame, It's just a shame of our country, United States, is having such leadership, person who has no
leadership, yeah,
who has no integrity, and who is, not telling the truth, and who is cheating on his taxes, and cheating on his business partners. And if you look deep, how many businesses has bankrupt, how many, he loses more money than people think he makes. So the Chinese thing is, I've been living here for 35 years now. I think myself more American, but deep down I'm still very Chinese, the way I think or the way I look at things. But I feel to answer your question, I don't feel like whatever he says has no weight, like he doesn't have credit, so yeah, that's how I feel.
I'm glad to hear that, because it made me really it made me angry. That he would blame, angry, but without much investment into the anger. I'm not going to make myself sick because of a sick man in power. But it is disgusting. It's blatant racism towards BIPOC people. Is and the LGBTQ world is disgraceful.
He couldn't answer the question of yesterday about like if he condemns the racist, condemns the white supremacists. He couldn't answer that question yesterday.
Yeah,
he was
that was a pivotal moment. That was a moment where he could have redeemed himself. But the problem is that it's the white supremacists that are his backers. So he can't condemn them because those are his voters. He thrives and he runs on racism. So let's just hope that everybody votes and votes smartly for the person who actually cares about the nation and cares about people.
I know. Yeah. I'm a little bit worried, But okay, let's do a quick rapid fire. Is all the questions. Thank you for your question. It's a very thoughtful question for me. Okay, so rapid fire is like funny and silly questions mostly. Okay. So has to be short and fun and quick. All right. Thank you guys for watching us. I really, really, really appreciate all your comments. It's very funny. Nick just made another comment. He's a Cheeto. No person. Did you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a
all right.
Cheeto. No person, no nation is a virus.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So, what did you eat for breakfast?
I had I do the 16 to 8. So I don't eat for 16 hours. And then I could eat again at 11. So I had Kellogg's with oat milk. Not very nourishing, I know. It was like a treat for me, like a dessert treat for breakfast.
Okay. Yeah. What's your favorite color?
Turquoise.
What kind of food genre do you like the most?
I love Asian food. I love Japanese food.
Pretending I'm taking you to a coffee/bar. What drink you will order right now?
Oat milk latte. This is what I have here.
So very badass. That's funny. Well, you have been in many countries, and if you had a home in London, in New York, if you would have another home in another country, which country would that be?
France.
3 gadgets you can outlive, you must have now.
Gadgets, like phones and stuff?
Yeah, electronic stuff.
Well, I mean, right now, I would say it's my phone, it's my laptop, and my AirPods.
Well, you are actor, you're entertainer, you're director, but it's all in the film or theater. If you were not an entertainer, which profession you might have? You might be.
Probably what I also do, which is yoga therapy. Yoga, more yoga teaching. meditation.
Great. Last question, which I already asked actually. Coffee or tea? I always ask, huh? Coffee. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. This is a lot of fun, and yeah, I want to thank you, and thank you for sharing your talent and your thought, your insight, and your wisdom with us. And
Thank you so much. You know what I just remembered, Ching? We didn't speak about Messi. We didn't speak about
Messi. Oh
Yes.
man. Yeah, should we play a
And
little
I
bit?
just briefly want to plug Messi because it's so awesome.
I watched the whole thing. I watched
Yeah.
the whole 5 episodes. It was
Oh, you
funny.
did?
Yeah, it was funny.
So,
Should we
so
play a
Messi
little bit?
is a web series that I was asked to direct by my friend Kate Warren, who created and wrote the show out and made basically a dramedy out of her own personal life.
Yeah.
And so this is all based on truth. It's about a middle-aged woman whose marriage is falling apart, but they can't afford to rent. So she starts dating with the new dating apps after not having been in the game for like 20 plus years. And so a lot of comedy comes out of that. And we have been playing at the Minnesota Film Festival, at the Montreal Film Festival, and we're coming up to the Chicago Indie Festival, and have just been bumped up to finalists for the Chicago Indie Awards. So I just wanted to plug that in.
Thank you guys for
Thank you so much
coming.
for
It was
having
so
us.
great seeing
Hi,
you.
thank you.
And listen, I really want to count on you for some babysitting.
Definitely. Of course.
Yeah. Oh, girl. Bye. Oh, you silly cat. Oh. Well, that was a fun party. Now it's clean up, everybody, everywhere.
Why can't you say a shiro longer?
The true and powerful goddesses will come down and smite you for disrespecting my quests. Now scoot and go get your room neat and tidy. Well, that was a fun party. I'm sorry you missed it.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling the whole superhero vibe.
So how are things with you and Alice?
She's my best friend. We tight.
Wow, you are so lucky. You know, not everyone is so lucky to have a best friend and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I'm not wanting to pry, but are you active?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. This is kind of awkward. A couple months ago.
Ooh, well, I just need to make sure that you're being safe, and I'm not going to be making a trip to Planned Parenthood.
Mama, I was wearing a condom and she was on the pill.
Where'd you learn how to use those?
Guys, stop.
Well, good. Keep that thing wrapped up.
After we had sex for the first time, Alice told her mom, and she gave her a glass of champagne.
Oh, champagne. Dang.
I gotta say, sex feels so good.
Oh, okay. Your father's coming home from the airport.
Yeah.
What's
up with all the balled up toilet paper? You and Alice having spitball?
Well, okay, I got it. It's fine. I got it. Just so, do you think me and Alice could have sleepovers?
I'm gonna have to talk to Daddy about that one. My first reaction is no, simply because of the little one.
They have sleepovers.
Might be confusing.
Well, could I sleep over her house?
Okay, I have to talk to Daddy about this. End of conversation.
Give me my phone! Daddy! I missed our superhero party.
Oh, girl, give me a hug. I missed you so much. You ready for the storm?
Their dukes are up. Gloves on.
Charlie boy.
Hey, Dad.
Look how much you've grown.
I can't be that much. You haven't been away that long.
I've been lecturing on Schopenhauer for 3 weeks. You don't look like you've been suffering.
We've been having fun.
Huh. Well, I guess my job is done here.
Oh, stop. Of course it's not.
Thank you so much today to talk to us, and we have still quite a few audience with us, and thank you guys.
Thank you for staying.
Yeah. So until next time, and good night and be safe, everybody.